Yeah, and of critical thinking stuff, there's something that, a logical fallacy is something that happens constantly throughout everything you do. You read, you listen to people talk. It's things that you would consider to be true, but it's not necessarily the case, and different ways that people do these things to make it happen. Am I explaining?
I think this is an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Because I only am holding on to the last word, fallacy.
Yeah.
It's still a fallacy. You could put any word which you would like in front of it, but it's still a fallacy.
Well, logical is essentially true.
Logical means
using your brain.
Yeah, but it doesn't. Logical doesn't necessarily mean that it's true.
Let's look this up. Pull this up. This is a good one.
Okay.
This is something that we need to dig deeper.
Okay. Logical means of or according to the rules of logic or formal argument characterized by clear, sound reasoning or natural sensible given the circumstances. So it's not necessarily the truth, especially if you put it in front of a word like fallacy, right?
But it makes sense.
It can make sense.
And it's based on clear evidence, all that stuff.
Yeah, so a fallacy is a flaw or error in reasoning that makes an argument invalid, unsound, or weak, often resulting from faulty logic, misleading evidence, or irrelevant premise.
Yeah.
Premises. But so you understand where I'm coming from? It's like you can't decode fallacy with a word before it. You understand where I'm coming?
No, logical makes sense. Fallacy is something that even though
it makes sense.
You would think it makes sense. This is why it doesn't, because of the fallacy.
Yes.
So, for instance, the straw man, which you talked about before.
Yes.
It would make sense, but you're misrepresenting someone's argument to make it easier to attack. So, an example would be, he wants police reform, so he must hate cops.
Ooh.
That's a logical fallacy. Just because you want police reform doesn't mean you hate cops.
Right. Right. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that, and we got to watch out for that stuff. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
The logical fallacy is dangerous, dog.
Yeah. This is something that in Alan's
people
group,
will stand on those things, too, and they'll bamboozle you.
Well, that's the whole thing.
Oh, yeah?
They're unmoved because they could argue it, right? Another one is the ad hominem. It's attacking the person, not the argument. So an example of this would be, you can't trust her opinion on health. She's overweight. So you're attacking the person, not the fact that they know what the heck they're talking about. And the argument.
That's very interesting.
You know, I've seen that.
And that's an interesting example you chose, too.
Again, AI, thank you. Like, puts it up there, right? How about appeal to emotion? So manipulating emotions instead of using valid reasoning. So an example, using sad animal footage to avoid discussing animal agriculture facts. It's like, it's like, oh, look at these poor animals. And then it's like, well, these are the facts. It's like, but everybody feels like, oh, man, I saw that dog,
Yeah. So what was it again? What was the last one you just did?
Appeal to emotion.
Appeal to emotion. All right. False dilemma. Presenting only two options when more exist. Ooh, you dirty little dog.
Oh, yeah.
just trying to like only just to lead you to believe that that's all there is.
It's so like
These are the
Democrat
only
or
options.
Republic.
These are the only options you have.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as anything else.
Yeah. Red or blue.
Yeah, that's
No
quite
orange.
wild. Example, you're either with us or you're against us. Well, damn, I thought those was my options anyway. Bandwagon fallacy. Everyone believes it, so it must be true.
This is the biggest one in parenting.
That might be the biggest one.
Everybody has a phone.
That might be the biggest one in America.
Everybody has Snapchat.
Bandwagon fallacy, mob mentality, all that rides in the same bucket.
Oh, yeah.
Example, all your friends vape. Why don't you? You like peer pressure.
You remember as a kid, it was like, well, if everybody jumped off the bridge, would you?
Right. Yeah, some people would jump off that bridge. The next one is slippery slope.
Oh, this is a good one.
Arguing one small step leads to disaster. Like doom and gloom.
Yeah.
Example, if we allow this law, soon we'll have no freedoms left. Yo, this AI is crazy with those things that it's choosing because there are all these...
I mean, this is a big topic.
It's controversy, brother.
Controversy all over. Well, but remember, a logical fallacy is where it makes perfect sense, but when you're doing it in this context, it's irrelevant. This is not, but that's where in the world today, you need to use your critical thinking because those headlines come up. All the people, saying all the things they say, the way you're manipulating, how you need to see through this stuff. And these are some of the fallacies that happen to allow you to see this is, take that out of the equation. Think critically.
Yeah, consolidate that, right? Makes sense. Circular reasoning. The conclusion is in the premise. Example, I'm right because I said so. Right? I'd be like, I know what I said because I was there when I said it.
Oh man, that's a good one. Every parent has done this at some time because I said so.
Yeah, I do. I'll be doing this sometimes.
And it's just like, it's basically just like it's over.
Because part of it for me is it's like the kids don't know what they need.
Yeah.
They just think they know what they need.
Yes.
So in some instances, it's like, just listen. Like, I don't want to go through a process. Just like, listen, just shut up and just, because I said so. You know what I mean? Because I'm your dad. That's why.
Yeah.
So like, everything is why. And that's understandable. When they're young, they need to learn, so everything is why. But there comes a point with certain things you're like, bro, just do what I told you to do, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some things you let it go because there's learning and there's growth and making your own decisions and seeing the consequences in some of these things,
Yeah.
But others, it's like, because I said so.
Yes.
Because I'm your dad.
Yes. Appeal to authority. Relying on experts rather than facts.
Oh, so being like, because this guy said so.
Yeah, people are followers, bro. I mean, everybody doesn't have the ability to think for themselves, bro.
So is thinking for yourself thinking critically?
Having an internal dialogue is thinking critically.
That's a good answer.
If you don't have the ability to do that, that's what I'm saying. This critical thinking is not for everybody.
It's not.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and like,
my head hurts a little
for
bit.
those people who are watching this that don't believe what I'm saying. Somebody. you've known people in your life that are acquaintances of yours, maybe friends, maybe family members, that there's certain places that when you go, you do not want to bring them with you.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing.
Because of, it seems as though they don't think about what they say before they say it. You know who I'm talking about. And
I got deja vu. Have you said that here before?
there's people that, because they don't have this ability,
the internal voice.
yeah, but they're judged away. They're judged by everybody else because they think that they're just an idiot. Or they are whatever label that they would like to label them. That they don't think before they speak. Hey, that's true. But that's about it. That's about the long and short of it. You know, that person that it seems like you don't want to take them to your mother-in-law's house. You don't want to take them around certain type of coworkers. You don't want to take them around the boss. You don't want to take them around certain type of people because they're going to embarrass you because you know they're going to say something that you perceive to be stupid or that they didn't think about or offensive or something of this nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys go do your research on that. There's not nearly enough data surrounding it, but there's a few places that have done some research on it. But in my opinion, it's something that impacts humans every day that not nearly enough humans know about. We got to have more patience with each other, guys.
Yeah, your internal voice.
Yeah.
So another one here is they call it a hasty generalization.
Ooh, I'm guilty.
Yeah, I think everybody is in some
guilty,
ways,
bro.
at least in saying these things. Drawing conclusions from limited data. An example would be, I met one rude New Yorker. They're all rude.
That is one.
New Yorkers aren't all rude, bro.
That's true, but I think like a lot of times I catch myself with that hasty generalization when it comes to stereotypes.
Oh, yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's truth in stereotypes. There's truth in them. Doesn't mean they're all true.
There's a little bit of truth in everything.
It doesn't mean that they apply to everyone either.
Yeah.
But they are what they are. They're there. And they're there for a reason.
I don't know. This is one that I'm like, I'm not touching.
Don't be scared, dog. Don't be scared now.
That one
you riding shotgun, bro. You ain't gonna jump out while the car's moving, dog. Yeah. So red herring. Distracting from the real issue.
This happens all the time.
Yeah.
Let me take you off over here. Instead of allowing you to...
I get accused of this.
I had an ex-fiance that was her deal.
I get accused of this because I'm not I'm not always... I might have to paint a picture to see the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like I might not have the fastest route to get to somewhere. So it might seem like I'm like, just wait a second. Like I'm going to get there. Like...
Yeah, that's totally different, though, than why worry about pollution when there are people starving? There's people starving, bro. You can litter. There's people starving.
So this is probably one of the most common things in the red herring.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest thing out there.
So
it's distract you from focusing on whatever this like, is to put it over there.
It's just so disrespectful, though, like, on a note of, like, you're wanting to talk about something, and they're just like, or it's just, there's many different ways it can apply. That's nasty.
Yeah, so in an example is you have an agreement with your lady that you're going to go on this vacation to this destination. And she really doesn't want to go, right? So every time you're like trying to like further the conversation, she goes, "Oh, I gotta go and do laundry," and dips out. It's like, dude, I'm trying to talk about this trip.
Right.
Like we gotta get it. And by the end, it's like, oh, the trip never happens because she pulled the red herring move on you.
She got you, brother.
Got you. You know?
That's wild.
Yeah.